Well, every Monday here on eNCA Moneyline, we take a look at investing. And this evening, we're discussing what a weak currency means for the economy. For this discussion, I'm joined by Graham Bell, who's strategist at Old Mutual Equities. Graham, thanks for your time this evening. Now, theory.
Hi, Siki.
The theory goes, if you have a weak currency, it means your exports are going to do really, really well. Your manufacturing sector should be recovering, and yet we haven't seen that over the past couple of years. Why is that in South Africa?
Hi, Siki. Yeah, it has been a disappointment. Manufacturing production since the global financial crisis has increased. It's increased by about 13% over that time. It's five, 6 years now. But that's not really very much, and the overall economy has increased by a lot more than that. So manufacturing has lagged behind, and manufacturing exports have been disappointing. There are several reasons. One obvious reason is the restraints because of the lack of electricity, load shedding, but also just the lack of the increase in electricity capacity. So in fact, there's been no increase in the amount of electricity supplied and consumed in South Africa since 2007. It's been flat over that time, or even slightly down. Now, that is a restraint for manufacturers.
How have our competitors...
And what we've seen...
How have our competitors done compared to us? Because if we look at other emerging markets, their currencies have also been rather volatile. Are we doing worse than them?
Well, it varies a lot across the emerging market spectrum. One of the countries that we often compare ourselves with is Brazil. Yeah. Brazil's got its own set of problems, which are quite different from ours, and in some ways they're similar as well, but they've also had a weak currency. But the reasons here are, it's not just the electricity story, it's also that we've had problems in the labor market, in the sense that wages have gone up very rapidly, and that has made labor much more expensive for manufacturing companies. Now, one understands the unions here have their own agenda. They're fighting for a living wage, and NUMSA has been particularly aggressive in that sphere. And one understands that, but at the same time, you have to realize that you're part of the global environment, and to export to other countries, you have to have a product that's competitive. And if your wages are going up that fast, then you don't get the benefits of the fall in the currency. So they get cancelled out.
And our destination countries, we export quite a lot, for example, to Europe. And then the euro, as we know, has had a bit of a struggle in recent months against the US dollar as well.
Yes. Well, that's exactly right. So we often think of the rand as being a weak currency because we're looking at it versus the dollar. And we quietly forget that actually, as you say, the euro has also been weak, and sterling has been weak, and the yen has been weak. Yeah. So against a basket of currencies, the rand has actually been quite flat. And if you take a year-on-year percentage change, the rand is actually slightly up against that basket of currencies over the past year. So that's another factor which a lot of people tend to ignore because they're focusing solely on the dollar. And of course, we don't really export that much to the United States. It is an important trading partner, but by no means the most important partner.
All right, we'll leave it there. Thanks, Graham. Graham Bell is with Old Mutual Equities.